people like me. You need people like me so you can point your f***ing fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
News. Okay, we'll start with this. Gervonta Davis undergoes brutal training to fight yet another super featherweight. Gervonta Davis has begun his first day of training, shutting down rumors that he will not fight Lamont Roach. Davis is scheduled to face Roach on March 1st in a defense of his WBA lightweight title, but Tank ruffled a few feathers by saying the fight was off. This raised alarm bells from the boxing community since Roach said the fight is still happening as far as he is concerned. Tank has also said he was retiring this year once he boxed 3 more times. But now it seems Davis is locked in. The following video shows him going through various training drills as he pushes himself to the limit. Roach will face a tough task since the WBA champion is moving up from 130. Hector Garcia did something similar but failed to beat Davis, getting stopped. And that's why they're fighting another super featherweight. Another guy who's done absolutely nothing at 135 pounds, nothing to earn a shot at a belt there. Another guy that can help in the illusion to make Gervonta seem like this massive puncher. But Tank is facing criticism for not facing the big names. He has been linked with a unification against WBC lightweight champion Shakur S. Stevenson. The latter will face Floyd Schofield on February 22nd. Davis has given mixed comments about that fight. He has said he would face Stevenson at some point, but he has also downplayed the fight, stating that Shakur has no special skills.
But Lamont Roach does?
This is despite Shakur being an undefeated 3-weight champion. Tank could equally pursue a fight with Devin Haney or Teofimo Lopez at 140. The latter two are 2-weight world champions, whereas Lamont Roach has only been a champion at 1. Those fights would generate a lot of attention, but Tank's insistence appears to be on facing Ryan Garcia, someone he's already beaten, rather than those names. Leonard Ellerbe came out to defend Davis's retirement decision.
Of course he did.
Tank was clear that he wanted to leave the sport to focus on his real estate portfolio and his newborn son, but if he leaves at his peak without facing the best, there will be an asterisk on his legacy.
What legacy?
Ellerbe stated, "I can understand where he's coming from. Things are different when you have kids. It changed your life. It completely changes your life. He looks at things differently than 6 or 7 years ago. If that's what he said, he's retiring, and we all heard him. No, not at all. It's never good enough what you do, and sometimes that can be frustrating. There's more to life than something you do for a living. You have to respect for fans who pay their money to see you fight, but you have a life outside of boxing.
Go live it."
I don't actually think it's bad news that this could be the final year of Gervonta Davis's career. Good riddance, the bad rubbish. Soft matchmaking and what are grossly overpriced pay-per-views. Ellerbe continued, "They want you to continue to do this, and they really don't care about your health afterwards. Boxing is a brutal sport. You see a lot of fighters from before. They were taken advantage of in a lot of different ways. They went through a lot of health issues, a lot of permanent stuff. I understand the philosophy that you come into the sport and make your mark, and then you leave it at that. Everybody's opinion is different, and everybody has different goals in life.
His was never to be the best.
To be the best of a division, the best in the sport, the best in show, that was never Gervonta Davis's goal. He's a gimmick, a DEI face of boxing, who's run out of smoke and mirrors. All that remains in the lightweight division are high-risk fights. The guys he came up with, like Vasyl Lomachenko, their careers are winding down. Vasyl Lomachenko himself is on the eve of retirement. What remains? Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis, both of which want a piece of you,
bitch.
and you don't want no parts of them. How could Gervonta Davis talk down Shakur Stevenson the way that he does, then turn around and fight Lamont Roach of all people? The way he talks about Shakur, you'd think he were the one who came up on Pro Box.
You'd think he's the one who last fought on YouTube.
You'd think he's the one who dropped the decision to Jamel Herring. lying?
You'd think.
It's gaslighting is what it is, trying to convince the boxing community at large that there's no reason to advocate for a Shakur Stevenson fight, that Shakur's not even a good fighter. A tough sell when you're fighting Lamont Roach. Nothing against him, but Lamont Roach is no Shakur Stevenson.
You don't need me to tell you that.
He debuted a new hairstyle, a new hairdo via his social media just the other day.
He looks ridiculous.
Silky, Gervonta Smooth, and the Temptations. I've always said this kid's got agave in his gas tank.
Putting Splenda in his Kool-Aid.
And his fans, what they like about him has nothing to do with his boxing. That's why they hype up his lackluster boxing career, his lackluster resume. It's not boxing that draws them to Gervonta. It's the nail polish, it's the purses, it's the relaxer in his hair.
The tattoos.
They have a homoerotic fixation with this fighter. The realm of homoerotic fixations. Gervonta Davis himself stated, "Chris, while you're at it, tell those guys how you and Two Fly Wheezy out of here and Stefan moved to LA a year ago because you guys were all screwing each other." And while they were doing that, what were you doing, Gervonta? Painting your toenails? I'm just calling a spade a spade. A lot of these guys that die on a hill defending Gervonta Davis's piss-poor resume and his piss-poor choices only do it because they want to have sex with him.
It's got nothing to do with boxing.
It's tantamount to a girl picking a favorite football team based on the color of the uniforms. It's got nothing to do with the sport.
And that's fine for them. You can watch him for whatever reason you watch him. You can like him.
You can love him for whatever reason you do. Just don't try to have an argument with me about boxing. Boxing ain't got nothing to do with why you like that guy.
Well, he's leaving boxing anyway.
More insights into why. I'm going through a lot. I've been through a lot lately, been betrayed and shit like that. It really made me want to give up on the limelight. Everybody chases being in front of the camera. They chase an image. I don't want to be a part of that. As long as I have my money, can take care of my kids, and whoever I need to take care of. I don't need none of this. You're always going to be judged. You always got to live for someone else. You gotta be perfect, and nobody's perfect.
What a thin-skinned little man.
I'm the type of person, if you go against me as a boxer, I don't like you as a person. Shit like that. I need to step away from, cause I don't want to be like that. I feel as though I'm in it, and if somebody is betting against me, I feel like they want to stop my whole motion that I have going on. I don't want to be like that. That's why I'd rather step back on it and be on the cool side.
More like the safe one. I've long maintained that the walls are closing in on Gervonta. The ability to make money safely while having your pick of the litter is now hampered because you don't have Showtime to give you those big guarantees anymore.
When Showtime left boxing, they took those guarantees with them, and now you're over there at Amazon, different deal structure to what the PBC had with Showtime.
Well, it's drying up. Options are scarce. There are still a few good ones out there, but they require you to take risks, and you're not about that life.
I'm not begging him to stay. I would like to see him go. I would love if this were Gervonta Davis's last year in boxing, because boxing don't need fighters like him.
Go away and take your dumbass fans with you.
I don't actually care what the real reason he's leaving is. Now, he says he just doesn't want to be in the limelight anymore. I don't buy that. I think it's because you can't make money as easily as you used to, and the only way you can keep making money is to take risks. Take risks you don't want to take, so before you do that, you'll bow out.
Retire undefeated so you can maintain this illusion that you were actually any good. I don't think you were.
No amount of online pole smokers and cock jockeys from Baltimore are going to convince me of otherwise. When you are who you say you are, the proof is in the pudding, and there is no evidence.
Nothing impressive about Gervonta's resume. At his very best, he was a gimmick.
And if what this year heralds is a curtain call for his career,
bye.
I won't be seeing you, and I won't be wanting to. Good riddance, the bad rubbish. Elsewhere in the world of boxing, in my previous video detailing Demetrius Andrade's recent comments about a Canelo versus Crawford fight,
I trashed Andrade in that video. Somebody didn't like it.
a guy who goes by the name King Max said, when the hell has Andrade ever had the opportunity to be unified or lineal or undisputed?
At 154 and 160? What are you telling me, that there were no unified champions at 154 in the last 10 years? While he was there? At 160? While he was there?
No champion ever sent Andrade an offer. You're just a hater.
You're just a fanboy.
Andrade fought the best fighter at 168.
Who, David?
So he clearly wasn't scared of nobody, because none of the guys you're saying he didn't fight ain't better than Benavidez.
David Benavidez beat his ass. He actually forced him to quit. Is he supposed to get credit for quitting?
Let's go back. He talks about Demetrius not having the opportunity to unify at any of the weights he's campaigned. Go back to 154. When he was WBO champion, Erislandy Lara was WBA champion. And what did Demetrius say about a Lara fight?
Lara's boring. Fighting Lara is a last resort. I would rather fight Jack Colquet.
And he did fight Jack Colquet. Didn't look good doing it, by the way, but that wasn't a unification match. Lara would have been. You pretend that he didn't have the opportunity to fight the same Erislandy Lara that Brian Castano fought, that Jarrett Hurd fought.
All at 154.
Jarrett Hurd became a unified champion at 154. Jermel Charlo became undisputed.
Demetrius Andrade had the same opportunity to unify titles at that weight that they did. The difference is they did it and he didn't.
You don't get credit for fights you didn't have and fights you didn't win. And I'm not gonna play you the violin because of your piss-poor decisions. You withdrew from a Jermel Charlo fight, withdrew from a Sergey Didivianchenko fight, withdrew from a Matvey Korobov fight. Look at the screen, genius. It's all there. It's a paper trail a mile long. Looks like a Target receipt.
All the fights he withdrew from, all the fights he pulled out of. He was ordered to fight Yanni Bekalimkanalai. He chose to vacate his brown belt instead.
Said he was gonna fight Zach Parker, just to not fight Zach Parker.
He pulled out of that fight twice.
The first time it was because of a quote-unquote injury, which I don't believe, and the second time it was because he didn't like the money. Though who even cares? This is a fighter who's literally older than Canelo Alvarez with far less to show for it. A U.S. Olympian with no signature victories at any weight he's ever fought in. No signature wins at any weight he's campaigned. Who's the best guy he fought at 154? Who's the best guy he fought at 160?
While Canelo was at 154 fighting an unbeaten Austin Trout, Erislandy Lara, Miguel Cotto, what the hell was Andre doing?
While Jarrett Hurd was unifying titles with Erislandy Lara. What the hell was Andre doing? While Jermel Charlo was unifying his division en route to becoming its undisputed champion. What was Andre doing?
What?
While Danny Jacobs was beating an unbeaten Peter Quillen and an unbeaten Sergey Didivianchenko and swapping punches with both Gennady Golovkin and Canelo Alvarez at 160. What was Andre doing?
What?
So you want me to believe that all of Andre's contemporaries, all of which have signature victories, meaningful fights, all of them were doing that and he was doing what?
Oh, they were all terrified of Andre, who got sat on his ass by Vanez Martirosyan. Sat on his ass again.
Again by Damon Nicholson at 168. There's a difference between being avoided and being irrelevant. Andre is the latter. He always has been.
No, maybe it's because of the poor business decisions he made, all the fights that he pulled out of, resulting in a fighter that isn't worth anything. A fighter no one is interested in.
That's his own fault. It's up to you to build up your name, your marquee value, not somebody else. So while Canelo's fighting all the somebodies at 154, 160, and 168, even two of them at 175, what was Andre doing?
What?
He only fought David Benavidez because he didn't have a choice. He ran out of options. What the hell else was he gonna do?
What?
You say he's not scared of nobody because he fought David Benavidez. I say Canelo's not scared of nobody because he fought Dmitry Bivol and Sergey Kovalev. Two better fighters than Demetrius Andrade. Bigger, too.
They're literally bigger than Andre at a higher weight.
For years now, I've watched the odd guy try to make us feel sorry for Demetrius Andrade. There was even a time when I felt sorry for him, too, and then I woke up. I realized there's no way you could have been in the sport this long and have a resume like this unless you're avoiding people. Unless you avoid all the tough fights because you want to be fast-tracked to the money.
To Canelo.
And how's that working out for you? Over a year after you're shellacking at the hands of David Benavidez,
Those decisions you made, how'd they pan out?
that if everything you decided to do and everything you didn't led you here,
You messed up.
you must have, because everybody has a better resume than you do. Literally everyone. King Mac doesn't think so, but what is King Mac the king of?
Excuses? Piss poor arguments? Sob stories?
Only an abject failure in life would identify with Demetrius Dudu Andrade.
Birds of a feather fail together.
On the subject of Andrade, he recently stated he wants a fight with Edgar Berlanga, Charlo, Jaime Munguia, or Caleb Plant. And I'm not against him getting those fights, those opportunities, but that's what they would be for him. Opportunities, because those fighters don't need him.
If that sounds harsh, it's supposed to.
Andrade, 32-1 with 19 KOs, is a former junior middleweight and middleweight title holder. He moved up to super middleweight in January of 2023, defeating Damon Nicholson via a 10-round shutout after nearly 14 months of hibernation. Andrade would go on to lose a 6th-round stoppage to Benavidez 10 months later. Andrade said he fought a lot of battles outside the ring before facing Benavidez. The names he mentioned: Caleb Plant, Edgar Berlanga, Jaime Munguia, so on and so forth. That's just the top 10 fighters who I would like to get in that makes sense. And then I haven't looked up, like, tune-ups. I haven't looked up who's a good guy to get back in the ring with yet. So I really don't know what the pool of fighters are right now, but I'm just ready to get back in the ring with whoever. Andrade said he has no plans of returning to middleweight. I think there's nothing for me at 160, nor do I even want to try to make that weight anymore. I've outgrown it. Like, I'm bigger now. We all get older, we don't get younger. And there's, like I said, there are better fights at 168. I don't disagree with him. I wouldn't mind Andrade versus Berlanga, or Munguia, or Plant, or Charlo. I don't mind those fights. I just know that those fighters are going to exercise the same judgment with Demetrius that he exercised with Lara, that he exercised with Korobov and Derevyanchenko. Nobody likes their own medicine.
The judgment he exercised with Yanibek Alimkhanalai. You thought that you were too good for those fights the same way these fighters think they're too good for you.
To make matters worse, it's already been over a year since his loss to David Benavidez. And if what you really wanted to do was fight and get back out there, you could have appeared on Pro Box. Jarrett Hurd did, Angelo Leo did, Lamont Roach did. That's a part of how those fighters got their careers back on track. Lamont Roach is a champion now. So is Angelo Leo.
Now, I don't think Pro Box is paying guys through the nose to break in a piggy, but if what you need is activity, and if what you need is a tune-up, then you had plenty of time to have one on Pro Box. They did.
Unless you're still exercising the same judgment that finds you in this situation. You think you're too good for every goddamn thing. You think you're supposed to get fast-tracked to fights with those fighters you mentioned. It doesn't work like that.
Same way you turned your nose up at Yanibek over a year ago is the same way fighters are turning their noses up at you. Because what do they get out of fighting you? It's more an opportunity for you than it is for them.
And for that, you gonna say those guys are ducking Andrade? If that's true, then he's done some ducking of his own, which is what finds him here.
It's good for the goose, it's good for the gander.
Your dirty laundry's fresh out the hamper. So often over the years I've seen the odd guy tear down more accomplished and more ambitious fighters than Demetrius Andrade behind the guise of his untapped potential.
Spare me. He's older than Canelo.
And there's just no goddamn way you've been around for this long, at this many weights, and you don't have a single signature fight. The only way that happens is if you spent time avoiding fights instead of taking them.
It's the only way.
Good luck getting those fights with those aforementioned fighters. I actually hope he gets them. Though if he doesn't, it's not because they're freezing him out. It's because those fighters are exercising the exact same judgment that he did.
He thought he was too good for some of those guys, and some of these guys think they're too good for him. That's the way it is.
Karma's a bitch.